There
All
we
right,
go.
there we go. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Chilling, man. How are you guys?
Just chilling.
My
You
bad.
tune into that.
Wait. What was that?
How was I doing so far? I'm trying my best
What do you mean? Your best about what?
to fix his bot liberal mind.
I wasn't watching that. I was actually researching for. I'm about to do a stream later on Trump. I think he's gonna get charged, bro.
Wait, why do you think he's gonna get indicted?
Why do I think he's gonna get indicted?
Yeah.
Oh man, there's just so many different things. I'm gonna outline it in detail, but essentially, like, they've been releasing information, the entire time, throughout this entire search warrant situation, and there's good amount of evidence that shows like DOJ was trying to get these records from him prior.
Yep.
And
they were.
his defense team fucked up, if I'm going to keep it very candid. Declaring that, they released all the documents under penalty of perjury, all this other stuff. So yeah, I mean, even his lawyer lawyered up, which is
There was one person at least, on his end that literally said we released everything, and I think that must have been, if not perjury, they just didn't know, I guess. But yeah, I saw that a while ago. Rip.
Yeah, my bad.
How much time do you think he's gonna do?
Well, the thing that got him on pretty much dead to rights is the obstruction of justice. That's what they're gonna. That's probably the charge that's the easiest one to prove. And then the other thing too, as far as like the classified documents, he said, hey, I declassified them or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's classified or not. It's national defense information, which is heavily regulated. I actually did a case on national defense information back in like 2013. You guys can actually look it up. It was a guy out of New Haven that was he was trying to send it was out of New Haven. It was the New Haven office, but I think he lived in Middletown or Meriden or something like that, and he was trying to ship F4 schematic stuff to Iran. So yeah, like he ended up getting charged and indicted and everything else for that. And it didn't really matter too much that it was classified. It was more that it was national defense information, which anything national defense is always going to have issues. So that's kind of what it was.
Homie Robinson donated 5 and said Trump will get indicted. Myron is just being a Fed. Yeah, I'm gonna call with 2 Feds right now. Fed Cine and Fresh and
Probably.
Fit.
Here's the thing. I like Trump. Like, I'm a Trump supporter. I mean, I've been open about that. Like, I like Trump, but putting my biases aside and my personal, like for Trump, I got to put it aside and be like, yeah, they're gonna. I would be very surprised if a grand jury didn't indict him federally.
What do you think about the fact that Hillary sends out hits and eats babies?
Wait, okay, hold on. A boring question.
Oh,
Okay, here's a real question. Real question.
Is Trump getting indicted, but Hillary's fine?
Real question is, do you think
Real question.
they would really charge him given the unbelievable political consequences of doing so? Like, do you think the DOJ would actually bring those charges, even if other people, even if like the FBI or whatever recommended it? Do you think they would?
Well, so they already went to the extent of doing a search warrant, and I read the affidavit. I broke it down on my channel. For any of you guys anybody's interested, it's fed at 1811. But anyway, yeah, I broke it down and I actually read it because they redacted a large amount of it.
Yeah.
But I've written hundreds of search warrants when I was an agent myself. So what I did was I like read before, then read after, and then I was like, okay, this part that they're redacting right here, more than likely it's informant information. Okay, this part that they redacted here, more than likely probably something classified or something that can personally identify some kind of source of information. So, the fact that they went ahead and got a search warrant through a magistrate judge tells me that they're ready to potentially file charges. And the thing too, let me explain something real quick about how the Bureau works. And when I say the Bureau, I mean the FBI.
Yeah.
They're very big on getting press releases. They do a fantastic job of marketing their agency. So when they can do big arrests and they can go ahead and be like, yo, we're the ones that arrested such and such. I mean, them arresting Trump would be huge. So
They would, but I mean, if you're working in those agencies, this is kind of like, this was the huge issue with Comey, was you don't want to be seen as making statements about future elections, right? That you don't,
for sure.
Yeah. So that's the
As
only
a government employee, it's frowned upon to make any political. It's called the Hatch Act. You're not supposed to commentate at all.
Well, I don't mean the literal statement of like expressing like a favor or whatever for a politician, but the idea that if you're in the FBI and at the end of the day, you're making the call to recommend charges, or if you're in the DOJ, if you're Garland or whatever, and you're figuring out whether to go forward with something, that what you're doing is going to have direct consequences on the next presidential election, and maybe even a lot of House seats and everything too. Like everything is going to be affected by that. It just seems like an unbelievable position to be in for a federal official to decide. Because if you do go through, like, holy shit. If you don't, that's also holy shit. It just seems like an insane position to be in. But like you said, they already went through with the search warrant. They already got that sent off, and they did the raid, and that's already like ahistorical and unprecedented. So yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, like the charges that they put on the search warrant, those are some very serious charges. You know, you're talking like 18 USC 793, which is like espionage, and then you have, obstruction of justice, mutilation of documents. Like these are all felonies. These are all 18 USC charges. You know what I mean? Which is the federal code, the criminal laws in the federal statute. So it's wild, man. So I think if they
Are
want
most presidents guilty of that? Mutilation of documents,
No.
hiding information, espionage. Isn't that
No.
standard practice for a president?
No. Sorry, it's not.
No. So yeah, I mean the fact that
Hillary, Biden, you don't think these people are doing the same thing? Hiding documents, spying.
the point is that the fact that they went ahead and got a search warrant makes me say, okay, knowing that more than likely the affidavit was going to be released at some point because of, public. If you look at the Pacer thing, there's a bunch of news organizations that push to get that thing, released immediately. So the fact that they went ahead and went through with a search warrant, and an AUSA, remember guys, Garland himself looked at that affidavit.
Absolutely.
The highest levels of DOJ looked at it, right? And the FBI agent swore to it. Like, that tells me if you're going to go ahead and do a search warrant and cite criminal statutes, you got to be ready to like pull the trigger and actually indict as well. And what they found in the house not only confirmed their information, it corroborated their intelligence, and it would be crazy for them to not file charges against them. You know what I mean? At this point, after what they found.
Damn.
Unfortunately. And this is coming from someone that likes Trump. That's you know what I mean? I'm putting my biases aside on this.
There's no favoritism. Why are they like saying? You could say that most politicians are probably doing shit like this. This doesn't seem like anything you.
No, okay, hold on. If you're gonna make a charge like that, then you need to give an example. Who do you think is doing something that is comparable to this? Or who do you think is doing something that's wrong or bad?
Has hires spies and puts hits out on people and
What are
hides
we talking about?
documents?
Hires spies or puts hits on people? That's what we're talking about.
You said they got it for espionage and mutilating documents.
Yes.
Yeah, every president.
Oh, okay. I need like an example. What do you mean every president? Do you think they all just like go to their basement and they just like cut up shit because they're bored? Like, what do you mean?
You don't think every president hides documents? I can guess every single one.
I don't think
probably
saying
does
every
hide
president does something is proof or even a good accusation that presidents do. We need like an example. Like
George Bush.
No, when?
11/9.
You mean 9/11? I think the point is that typically presidents are supposed to keep their documents, and the reason why is for so they can go ahead and archive it. And those are the people that originally reached out to Trump to say, hey, we need these documents
The
back.
National Archive people, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because they keep it for historical reasons.
Yeah, what about Hillary Clinton's email server? She never got any trouble about that, right?
Do you want to? If you want,
You're right about that.
Well,
you're right. Like my thing is this. My whole argument with that was I was like, yo, listen, if you guys are gonna go ahead and go after Trump, you need to put that same type of tenacity with prosecuting politicians, etc. You need to apply that to everyone. But they never did that with Hillary.
Well,
you know what I mean?
hold on.
There's favoritism right there.
No, they did do it with Hillary. What do you mean? They did an investigation. They went as far as they could, and the farthest they could go on that investigation was the guy that wiped the email server. What else were they supposed to do? Yeah, what else were they supposed to do in that investigation?
No, you are correct. They did have a full investigation. They did. And the thing is about the Bureau, which is kind of funny, is they need approval to even open a case. A lot of people don't know that. They need like other agencies, you don't need an approval to open up an investigation. For them, you start like a preliminary investigation, and then for you to actually have like a full-on criminal investigation open, you need approval to do that. And they did have that approval. They did do a full investigation on Hillary. And they never actually charged her. But I mean, again, I don't think they put the same effort into investigating her as they did Trump. I mean, obviously with the whole Russian probe and everything else like that. My thing is,
I mean, she did how many hours, how many congressional hearings on her emails, how many hours did she sit in front of Congress for Benghazi? Like, I feel like they've put Hillary through the ringer quite a bit. People will say they didn't do much, but like, you're crying, but like your daddy Trump cries like anytime anybody investigates anything. And that guy has shady people out the fucking ass. We could talk about foreign affairs with fucking Cohen. We could talk about lying to the FBI with fucking Flynn. We could talk about all the the weird shit that Roger Stone was involved in. We could talk about all the stuff with Cohen. Like, there's a million people around Trump, and even Trump fanatics will admit, okay, yeah, he's really bad with picking people around him. But like, holy shit, nobody holds a candle to the people that Trump has surrounded himself with. Come on, don't give me that shit. Trump surrounds himself with the worst people and cries anytime he wants to hold a candle to any of his shit.
Here's the thing.
It's weird.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, what are we talking about here?
No, I just like I said before, of course there's some questionable things, right, on both ends. But all I'm saying is that, if you look at the Bureau badge, the FBI badge, it's the Lady of Justice, right? She's wearing the blindfold and she has the scales to signify that, that you're supposed to, justice is supposed to be blind, it's supposed to be equal regardless of, status, who you are, etc. So my thing is, you got to apply that same tenacity in, from an investigative standpoint to Hillary as you did with Trump. Now, I get it. She sat on congressional hearings. She was under oath. She couldn't lie, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But my thing is, being, put in front of Congress under oath to, testify as to the issues with Benghazi, et cetera, is not the same as going through a criminal investigation. It's two different things, essentially.
Sure, but even for the email stuff, wasn't she under oath when she did all the? You are under oath for deposition, yeah?
Yeah, you have to be.
So here's a question. Hillary Clinton probably spent over. This is going to be my guess. I could be wrong, but if you include Benghazi in the email stuff, she was probably under oath for over 100 hours testifying. Has Trump gone under oath a single time ever for anything related to what he's done?
Well, here that tells you right there. It's because he's under a real criminal investigation. I mean,
the email thing was a pretty serious. That could have been pretty serious charges, no?
Typically, she's fine.
Typically, if you're doing a criminal investigation, you don't want to put your. I mean, you could put your guy, there and say, okay, I want you to testify in front of the grand jury. But a lot of times they're gonna just take the fifth. Be like, all right, well, I'm not talking. What the hell?
Sure, but my understanding is Hillary Clinton she testified relating to her email shit. She made her people available, her servers, her stuff investigated. I'm pretty sure Trump was pleading the fifth at every single.
There was probably something put in place where her congressional testimony could not be used against her in a criminal proceeding. Otherwise, any lawyer worth half their half a brain would be like, no, you're not going to say anything. You're gonna take the fifth. So there was probably some type of agreement where anything she said in that congressional hearing, right, because the committee had answers, would not be used against her in a criminal court. If someone would say, I'm taking a fifth, I'm not answering no goddamn questions.
If you believe that to be the case, though, then you know that Hillary Clinton is innocent. Because if she was given some sort of grant of immunity, then she would have just said, oh yeah, I fucked this up with my email shit. Like, I did this, it was wrong.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean she's
wants votes.
It just means that the AUSA decided, well, we're not going to prosecute.
Well, I'm just saying that if you truly believe that Hillary Clinton was given some grant of immunity, then you must agree that she had no reason to lie about anything.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, based on the facts that I know, typically if you're involved in a criminal investigation and you're being brought in to answer questions, especially under oath in front of a committee where those statements could be used against you later on in a criminal case, like, it would make zero sense for her to make any statements whatsoever. Any lawyer worth half their salt would be like, no, my client's not saying shit. She's taking a fifth. She's under criminal investigation. We're aware that she's under criminal investigation. Because at this point, she probably had been interviewed by FBI agents. She'd been asked to come in, etc. So that there's a criminal investigation. So, and then with, she's going to know. So any lawyer would be like, no, she's not saying shit. I don't care who the committee is that wants to ask questions. So the only way that she would go there being able to answer questions, and without taking the fifth to protect herself, I would think is she had to have something where the AUSA was like, listen, anything you say in this congressional hearing will not be used against you in any type of case, which is the only thing I could think of. I'm just coming to that conclusion based off of somebody testifying while being the product of a criminal investigation will make no sense. Sure. I would not say shit.